Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And it's been a while because, but back to reviewing another anniversary review. And since today is year's 2019, so mark a 20th anniversary from film from 1999. And it's another classic Disney film that I grew up loving. And it's definitely one of the classic ones that I grew up loving. Like, especially, from growing up in the 90s, from The Lion King to Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, Mulan, even Pocahontas, which doesn't get talked about much nowadays, sadly, though. But even The Hunchback of Notre Dame, even The Little Mermaid, which is 89, which I will review that, though, so if anyone asking, that's going to come up soon, so... But, The Little Mermaid too, but 1989, but this one, the review of the 20th anniversary of the 1999 an all-time Disney classic, Tarzan. This is another one I've wanted to review for a long time now, and wanted better not to review this for the 20th anniversary of Tarzan. This is another animated Disney masterpiece to me. It is. The film was a huge hit when it came out in the summer of 1999. Made of close to 450 million worldwide, a little over 170 million domestically. It was a big hit. And this was the last. This is the film I say it was like the last of the Disney Renaissance. Back in the certain time. Where like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Lion King, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, like those times of back in the old times, basically. So this is this is considered like the last of the Disney Renaissance films, the run time of that, and got a lot of critical praise. It's at 89% Rotten Tomatoes, 7.3 IMDb. One thing considered that a lot of people still remember about this film to this day. One of the major things is the songs by Phil Collins. If anyone remembers about the 1990 film Tarzan, it's the songs by Phil Collins, mainly from Two Worlds, Son of Man, Strangers Like Me, and the film that he won the Oscar for, as well as Golden Globe for Best Song, You'll Be in My Heart. That's the song that's the film that got the most famous from this film, is You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins. And I love the songs by Phil Collins. You'll Be in My Heart will always be an all-time classic song. And as well as the score by Mark Mancina for the score of the movie, it fits the film well as well. But the songs by Phil Collins is classic. That's the reason why people talk about that film. It's the songs by Phil Collins, especially "You'll Be in My Heart." That's basically that song is famous for this film. Great songs, good soundtrack for the score by Mark Mancina, and the voice cast is a phenomenal job. Tarzan, voiced by Tony Goldwyn. And Tony Goldwyn, famous for playing Carl from Ghost. But probably his most bigger role, even though his debut was when he starred in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, when he got stabbed by Jason with a metal rod. That was his debut, but he got mostly famous from starring in Ghost as Carl. Then he was playing the Last Samurai, the remake of The Last House on the Left. Then he sure go on to do that show, what was it, Scandal? I think that was the name of the show called. And the Belko Experiment, which I think he did a great job in that film. I think I mentioned in my review of the Belko Experiment. I think he should get more lead roles like those. But I liked him in the Belko Experiment. He was like a good bad guy as well. But Tony Goldwyn, he did an excellent, phenomenal job as Tarzan. and then who provides the younger voice of Tarzan when he was a little boy is Alex D. Lenz, who plays Alex in Home Alone 3. Wait, his real name is Alex, but he also plays a character named Alex from Home Alone 3. He plays the voice of the younger version of Tarzan when he was a boy. Yeah. And he does a good job as well as voicing the younger version of Tarzan. Minnie Driver, who plays Jane, I think she did a really great job. Glenn Close plays Carla, Tarzan's adopted mother, the gorilla adopted mother. She does a really good job. Lance Henriksen as Kerchak, the leader of the gorilla group. He also does a wonderful job. My brother, he loves the character of Kerchak. Whenever I mention Tarzan, my brother says, "Oh, Kerchak," Kerchak. Yeah. So that's another thing my brother he likes. He loves Kerchak. But Lance Henriksen, he does a really great job as voicing Kerchak. With Brian Blessed, who voices Clayton. Brian Blessed, who voices Clayton, he does a really great job as our villain Clayton, the hunter who wants the gorillas. Nigel Hawthorne, who plays Jane's father, he does a good job as well. Rosie O'Donnell plays Turk. Even though overall I'm not the biggest fan of Rosie O'Donnell, although I remember not minding her in the Flintstones movie. Although I did not care for her in the sequel, which another stakeout with, that was a bad sequel, sadly, with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez. That was not a good sequel for me, though. When Rosie O'Donnell, she was in that, though. But here, I tolerate her voice as Turk because growing up, I never minded her voice as Turk. That's why. So I'm more lenient on Rosie O'Donnell for that. So she does fine as voicing Turk. And Wayne Knight voices Tantar, the elephant. He does a very fun job as well. I enjoy Wayne Knight as an actor from Jurassic Park, Space Jam especially. I like Wayne Knight as an actor, which he also go on the year before he did Tarzan. He go on and voice what was the guy's name from Toy Story 2, the one who took Woody. Al. Owns Al's big barn, toy barn. Yeah, Al. So Wayne Knight, I enjoy him as an actor. He does a really fun job as Tantar. So the voice cast was overall very very solid, and they all did a wonderful job voice acting. So a very good voice casting, great song by Phil Collins, as well as a score by Mark Mancina. Another well done animation job from Walt Disney the Studios. The animation of the film really wonderfully well made. So I love the animation. The pacing I thought was very well paced for what was it, on an hour and it's only 88 minutes. So just without end credits, it's under 90 minutes. It's very well paced. And the directors from two directors, Kevin Lima, who go to direct who directed A Goofy Movie, directed the 2000 film Enchanted, 102 Dalmatians, as well as the co-director Chris Buck, who later go on to co-direct Frozen, and which including the upcoming sequel Frozen 2. So years before the Frozen 2, Chris Buck co-directed Tarzan. So the directors did a good job, including everyone else who had a hand in this. It's very well animated. I enjoy the animation of this film. Very well animated. Just like visually how get the dark atmosphere, how the jungle is at night and daylight, and just very well animated. And the story, of course, based on the classic story by Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan of the Apes. And also the thing is the film is very well paced as well. It's 88 minutes, so without end credits, it's under 90 minutes, maybe 83 minutes at most, so it's just under 90 minutes. Very fast pace. That's from, so everything from the good solid voice cast, like I said, the music, songs by Phil Collins, music by Mark Mancina, the pacing, the animation, the direction from the directors, and as well get into the story that's, let's just takes place like this last film, like the Disney Renaissance. So like it takes place like in the early 1900s, where Tarzan's parents, well, yeah, their ship sinks, and then you get the Phil Collins song "Two Worlds" playing. So the parents, they rowboat to the island, or to land. It's not an island, it's a land, and they build a tree house and live in there together. And at the same time, we go with Kurt, Jack, and Carla, who has a son, little baby son, and then you get the film has a lot of dark moments in it, like the moment where the son gets killed by a sabor, or the leopard or jaguar. I'm saying leopard. It looks more like leopard. So yeah, that moment, and you get that dark moment there, and then Kurt Jack, ever since then, he's been like totally upset about it ever since then. And then Carla hears a gunshot, and she investigates. She finds the treehouse, and she sees the claw marks and shotgun shells on the floor. And then like the dark moment where she's slowly creeping in with the coloring, the lighting, how she's slowly walking the treehouse, and then all of a sudden, when the wind blows the leaves, she finds Tarzan's parents dead. Their bodies on the floor, and it's Disney, so they're not gonna show nothing graphic, but you just see like their bodies laying together side by side just by showing the legs, not just like the lower half of the body. It's just like mainly the legs. So it's nothing graphic because it's Disney. They're not gonna show nothing, but get the dark moment where she just all of a sudden just finds their bodies like they're dead, and she gets scared, and then she hears the baby, and the baby looks at her, and she goes, "Huh?" And the baby goes, "Huh?" And then we're funny where she just picks it up because she doesn't know what this creature is. She's never seen before, and like when she sniffs the diaper, she goes, "Ooh." And then hanging from the rafters, she gets attacked by a sabor. She escapes, and it takes the baby to Kurt Jack and the others, and Kurt Jack does not want the baby, saying that she said that the sabor killed his family. So even though Kurt Jack says that you raise it, basically gonna be like my son. So, and then you have Glenn Close singing a little bit of the version of "You'll Be My Heart." She's singing it, Tarzan. And then sometimes, so a little years go by when Tarzan's like a little kid, voiced by Alex D. Lenz, from Home Alone 3. Which he hasn't done much after which since, so you don't hear nothing about him anymore. Sad to say. But he now because he's living with the gorillas, he understands gorilla talking animals. And Turk, voiced by Rosie O'Donnell, and a young Tantar as well when he was little too. And so the whole thing with this whole story with Tarzan, how he's trying to fit in because he's not a gorilla, he's a human. It's this whole film of him trying between like Phil Collins' song "Two Worlds," but him living with animals and separate from him with the human society and all that. Trying to fit in where he belongs, basically. Like when he gets in trouble with fighting some elephants, and Kurt Jack gets pissed at him, and when he's sitting alone, he looks at himself through the reflection of the water. He basically hates himself for what he is. Mother comforts him. And then you got Phil Collins' Son of Man playing. It's basically like, a song for, coming of age, as the time goes on, him becoming older to the man that he is. Which is another good song. Son of man, look to the sky, lift your spirits and be free. Son of man, where up to be. So yeah, so the whole montage is him coming up, coming of age song until he comes our Tarzan we know, and till after that, he gets the Tarzan voiced by Tony Goldwyn, which is a really great job. Then he gets attacked by Sabor again, and they both fight. Tarzan, he gets scratched, and then they're both fighting. He has a spear, and until eventually he ultimately kills Sabor. Like, rising out of the pit, they get the support. The girls are watching. They get select, but tosses the carcass aside, and Tarzan doing the famous, Tarzan yell or scream. Until then, until one thing leads to another, he hears a noise, a shotgun noise, and he finds on the floor. He finds empty shotgun shells. He doesn't know what it is. He tastes it. It tastes icky. Until he hears something coming, he sees another human, and we're introduced to our main villain, Clayton. And then with Jane Porter, I forgot Jane Porter, the last name. Yeah, Jane Porter, voiced by Minnie Driver, and her father, Professor Porter, voiced by Nigel Hawthorne. Which I also remember Nigel Hawthorne from Demolition Man, which he did a good job in that film as well. He's Demolition Man. Nigel Hawthorne. He was like the guy kind of like rebuilds like the future of the world when Stallone gets brought back into. And like Wesley Snipes, he was not programmed not to kill him, so he has someone else to kill him for him, tosses him to the fire. So, but yeah, Nigel Hawthorne, he's now no longer with us, Sally, though, so may he rest in peace. So he does a good job as the professor, and Minnie Driver, wonderful job as Jane. And Tarzan is seeing all these people. He doesn't know who they are because he's never seen other humans before because grown up with gorillas. And till one thing leads to another, where Jane sees like a little baboon, so it's drawing a picture of it, and she makes the baboon cry, and then ultimately one of the favorite is when she's getting chased by all the horde of baboons, and Tarzan rescues her. When she jumps in, she screams at him, he's looking at him, he's like, ah! And fun chasing where he's sliding through like the tree trunks, the vines, between the vines, and where he gets on this open log, and when you catch her, he does like the splits and goes like, ugh! Or at one point when Jane uses the umbrella to opens it and push it with all like mow right through a bunch of baboons. And then when she sees her talking to the baboons, and she sees him talking to the baboons in their language, and she wanted the little baboon wanted the picture of the Jane drew, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe that I've seen a man talking to monkeys." And then more where we're communicating with each other, like first of all, like finding him speaking English, and it's like, Jane, Tarzan, Jane, So and then when takes off her glove, and then they're doing the whole handprint thing. They're like one of the same like humans basically. Like it's the same thing with what Tarzan did with his mother, Carla, earlier. Same thing, but then Tarzan did the same thing with Jane. So. And drops her off, and until when Jane is telling her father and Clayton about him, even drawing pictures of how Tarzan was living with the apes, and Clayton's like, "Professor, you're here to search for gorillas, not indulge in some girlish fantasy." Until it comes and proves that he is real. And like Clayton's telling him he wants him to take him to the gorillas, like, gorilla. And then it's like with the chalks, like Tarzan's like, gorilla, and starts trotting all over, and he's like mimicking Clayton. He's like, no. and then to get another song by by Phil Collins, "Strangers Like Me," which is like a montage of sequences where Tarzan's learning about the human world and among other things, using other devices like him riding the bicycle or showing like moving pictures and there's another good song by Strangers Like Me. I wanna know, can you show me something about the strangers like me? Tell me more, will you show me? So that's another good song. So you get the whole montage of that, and they even show where Tarzan's showing her how to swing from vine to vine. And Clayton keeps getting impatient because he wants to see the girls, but mainly he wants to hunt them, basically. And with Turk and Carla, they're worried about Tarzan because he keeps them visiting more and more. And till one thing leads to another, when they do eventually go to the gorillas, but Kerchak gets pissed and doesn't like that. And then to one point where Carla takes Tarzan to the tree house where she first found him as a baby, and shows a picture of his mother and his real mother and father. And then where he wants like I said, him choosing between living with girls or being with the humans. She wants him to go be with them, so like he puts on his father's clothes. So he wants to, go be with them. And one list to another that when they get on the boat, by the time he gets on the boat, Jane, her father, and the other innocent crew members of the board ship, they're being tied up, and Clayton, he's the one who has all these men. They want to take all the gorillas, hunt and capture them. And Turk, he has one nothing to do, but Tantar takes her with him, swimming towards the boat, and rescues him, gets him out. And then, as Clayton and all the other pirates, they call them pirates, capture the gorillas, and of course Tarzan with his famous scream, the Tarzan scream. Help with the other animals like elephants or other hippos or wherever. Help them, and then Clayton shoots Tarzan in the arm, but then ultimately shoots Kerchak, and then you get the dark moment where he's far, well, not yet though, but he's fights with Clayton in the trees, and he takes his gun, holds him at gunpoint, holds Clayton at gunpoint. He's like, "Go ahead, shoot me, be a man," and which Tarzan makes an imitation of a shotgun noise, and then smashes his gun, saying, "I'm not a man like you." And then Clayton takes out his machete, starts swinging it at him, and Tarzan makes him get entangled in the vines, and Clayton, he's chopping all the vines, but he's not knowing that has a vine wrapping around his neck, and Tarzan's telling him, "Clayton, no!" And then he cuts the one vine, and he ultimately... To me, it's one of the darkest moments I've seen in a Disney film. One of the dark moments, especially from that time, it's one of the darkest moments of a Disney death. A death in a Disney film. Where he falls, the vine's around his neck, and then when the vine... And then by the time when the knife hits the ground, and so does Tarzan, and here where you see the thunder, when it starts raining here, you see the first flash of lightning. You see, on this side here where the tree is, you see when the lightning flashes, you see Clayton's shadow silhouette, his shadow where he got hung. You see him being hanged from the shadow casted by the lightning. And that was a very dark moment for a death, like Gaston when he fell to his death, or what was the guy's name? The judge from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Judge, I forgot what was it. Quadro. God, I forgot his goddamn name. But his death was dark too, and so Clayton, his was a very dark death as well, which is just showing, not physically showing the body though, but just showing by showing the shadow of him being hung from the vine. That was a very dark moment, so for a death. And then just Tarzan goes back to see that Kerchak, he finally accepts him as his son, and then he dies. Kerchak, it was a very heartfelt moment where he finally accepted Tarzan as his son. Tells him to take care of his mother and the rest of the gorillas. And so Jane was her father was going to leave back to London, but Nigel Hawthorne, Jane's father, tells that she loves him, so tells her to go on to be with him until he jumps off the boat and goes back with him as well, and then ends with Phil Collins, where she kisses him as well, and then ends with Phil Collins' song "Two Worlds" playing again, where with Jane swinging with Tarzan, and then ultimately ends with so, and then during the credits you have Phil Collins' Oscar-winning song "You'll Be in My Heart" playing during the credits. And that's the thing about the Walt Disney films especially from the 90s. You had good songs, that won Oscars for original songs, like with Celine Dion and Peabo Bryson won the Oscar for Beauty and the Beast, and then Elton John and Tim Rice for Can You Feel the Love Tonight for The Lion King. This film, especially Phil Collins' "You'll Be in My Heart" won that Oscar for that song as well. And the other songs from other Disney films, like "I Will Find My Way" from Hercules. That was nominated, but it didn't win, though. But, so yeah, this is especially those songs from the 90s, nominated for getting Oscar nominations. Now, now Disney songs of today, like "Let It Go" from Frozen. That won the Oscar, that easily won the Oscar for Best Song. Because that song was, when Frozen came out, when that song played, that got so much praise. Let it go, let it go. Especially, like I say, Chris Buck, who co-directed Frozen as well, co-directed Tarzan. But now, Let It Go, yeah, I like the song Let It Go. But is it as good as the songs like "You'll Be in My Heart," "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," "Beauty and the Beast" from those movies from the 90s? No. Because those songs are just flat out classics. Beauty and the Beast, and can you feel the love tonight? And especially because they're voiced by famous singers like Celine Dion, Peabo Bryson, Elton John, Phil Collins. Those songs are just classic from those films, though. Now, "Let It Go" is a good song, though, but does it match up to the songs from like it was from the 90s and even from the 80s? No. But it can be a good song on its own level. Some people, if people say "Let It Go" is a better song than any of them, that's your opinion. Agree, disagree. I'm just saying, because me being a 90s guy who was born in the 90s, 91 to be exact, growing up with those songs, that the songs from those back in the day, songs today I don't know where come close as the songs from back then. That's just me, though. So, but Tarzan, 20 years later, it's still a Disney masterpiece. I'm calling it as a Disney masterpiece. Like, say the same thing with The Lion King, which I call that's flat Disney masterpiece as well. But like the ones like Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Pocahontas. Oh, that's another. I forgot to mention. That's another song that won an Oscar for another Disney film. Pocahontas, "Color of the Wind." Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint of all the colors of the wind? That's another Disney song that won an Oscar for Best Song as well. Can't forget that one. But the thing is, though, no one, of all the Disney films of the Renaissance ones, no one ever talks about Pocahontas nowadays. I don't know why. Because one of the highlights for me of Pocahontas, because one of the voices, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson voiced John Adams in that film. He did a good job in that film. So no one ever talks about Pocahontas, especially when you have a good story. One of the highlights is Mel Gibson, for me. Oh well. But Tarzan is definitely such a classic. Then you got then got the two direct-to-video films. You got Tarzan 2, which is like another mid prequel. During the time they're doing like those mid prequels in the mid early 2000s. Like Tarzan 2 focuses more when he was a little kid, and then you got Tarzan and Jane, which they were supposed to be. It's a movie though, but they spliced together of episodes. There was supposed to be a TV show of Tarzan, but I guess that never came to be. It fell through. So Tarzan and Jane is basically, it's a movie, but they spliced together like a few of the episodes that were supposed to be aired though, but never did. So, but that's what Tarzan and Jane is though. Which I don't mind Tarzan and Jane. Tarzan 2 I honestly don't care for, because do I honestly care about more when he was a little kid? We got enough of like what he experienced in the beginning of the film, him trying to fit in. Disney didn't need to go into more into that with the second film. That's just me though. So that's one I didn't care for, but I take Tarzan and Jane because it's like a part of an episodes of series that never came to be though. So I prefer Tarzan and Jane over the second film. But Tarzan is a Disney masterpiece. I'm calling it that right now. And this is a special 2-disc collector's edition. For disc 1, has an audio commentary with Bonnie Arnold, producer Bonnie Arnold, the two directors Kevin Lima and Chris Buck. And it has a sneak peek of Disney's dinosaur in the back. And then disc 2 has the history and development of Tarzan, introductions and explanations by the filmmakers. The making of the music of Tarzan, original Phil Collins songs demo, Phil Collins music videos, behind the scenes with the voice talent, the voice cast, storyboard, final film split screen comparison, abandoned sequences, the deep canvas progress, Glenn Keane on the animation of Tarzan, character designs of the concept art, production demonstrations. So yeah. It's a good 2-disc collector's edition. So, I love this film to death. 20 years later, it's still an instant Disney classic to this day. To me, the best adaptation of the story of Tarzan to me, because me growing up loving it so much. There's been countless other ones. I remember there was one with Casper Van Dien. I don't remember nothing about it. Of course, the latest one, it was from 3 years ago, 2016, The Legend of Tarzan with Alexander Skarsgård, with Margot Robbie and Christoph Waltz, and Samuel Jackson in it as well. The one that Warner Bros. Produced. So that's like the latest adaptation of Tarzan. But this one is definitely the one most. If everyone remembers about Tarzan, it's the Disney classic one. That's everyone nowadays. People remember nowadays from. But I love this film to death, and many people still do to this day. 20 is a great 20th anniversary review of this film. I love this film. Definitely worth watching. Anyone's not seen it, what rock have you been living under? Anyone not even seen or heard of this one, especially from Disney from 1999. Yeah. Tony Goldwyn did a really great job as Tarzan, which you can still go on to direct voice him in the Kingdom Hearts games as well. But yeah, definitely such a Disney classic. But yeah, that's my 20th anniversary review of Tarzan. Definitely 2 thumbs up. I give it 10 out of 10 or 5 stars out of 5. I usually don't rate films like that though, but to me, the film I love so much, I give it that much rating. And the film to me is not dated at all. For the animation back in the day, because nowadays with Disney films, it's always like the 3D animation. I miss the traditional animation of stuff like this they did back in the day. The traditional animation. What was the last one we got? Was from 10 years ago, 2009. That was like the Princess and the Frog. Everything nowadays is just 3D animation. I wish they just go back and try to make another traditional animation film. I mean, do it for writing on paper and stuff though, but always want to go the cheap route now because it's easier doing 3D animation now. Yeah, those films are big hits, got a lot of praise box office wise, but for all that though, this stuff like this was about it, from the old, especially from the old days. But yeah. But everything I love about this film, the directing, the score, the songs by Phil Collins are such classics. Anyone remember about this movie? It's always about Phil Collins. One of the big reasons. You'll Be in My Heart, Two Worlds, Strangers Like Me, Son of Man, animations, the pacing, the dark moments, especially Clayton's death. And the overall, the voice cast did a really great job. Tony Goldwyn, Brian Blessed, Nigel Hawthorne, Minnie Driver, Lance Henriksen, Glenn Close, Wayne Knight, even Rosie O'Donnell. But yeah, love this film to death. Definitely worth watching. So yeah, that's my 20th anniversary review of Tarzan. Great Disney film. Childhood favorite of mine. Thanks, and also my brother's as well. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next review. Later.